Alright, today we're looking over the ongoing Directive build again that I showcased in a previous upload. I won't be going over all of the specs in this build, only the changes. So if you would like to know exactly what is entailed in this build, please watch through the first minute of the video. Also, the link to the previous video will be in the description and pinned in the comments. But I will be going over the changes to this build, meaning the only things I'll be going over are what has changed specifically. One of the changes are the sidearm. I swapped the sidearm for the military M9 just because I'm trying to get proficient with it. The sidearm doesn't really matter as much, but if I were to recommend anything, backup boomstick, the TDI card custom, one or the other. It is personal preference, if I'm being honest. Whatever works for you, especially if you have a lot invested in pistol damage and you're running a shield. Knowing that we aren't using the ninja bike, we lose out on a lot of the cores. So instead of 4, 3, 1, we have 2 damage, 3 armor, and 1 skill, with our armor still being at 1.3, but our health at 347,000. Our body armor is still the same, but our backpack, instead of the ninja bike messenger backpack, we're using the tac sack Mark II with the wicked talent. I even swapped out for the Aegis knapsack with the energized talent. Both backpacks have skill tier rolled on them. Again, you don't need a ton of armor and you don't need a ton of weapon damage if you are able to sustain 3 to 5 million damage. You don't need any more than that, because this isn't a all-out damage build. You're able to get that 5 million damage. You're able to get that 3 million damage and sustain it without having to sacrifice your durability. And that's the point of my builds. It doesn't matter if you can do 100 million damage if you're down. It doesn't matter if you can do 10 million, 20 million damage if you don't even get a chance to do it. If you don't get a chance to do it, it doesn't matter. And if you invest everything in damage, in offense, and you don't invest anything in skill or defense, you're crippling not only yourself, but you're crippling your team. If that is your play style, but even so, the enemy can easily exploit that weakness and just down one of you or down 3 of you and leave the tank up. And the tank isn't doing a lot of damage because they're a tank build. So they've only invested everything in armor. So they have no offensive. But for this build, this is another hybrid. This is a relatively balanced build. So you're not really sacrificing as much of that while still sustaining 5 million damage. Adding on to whatever damage your team is doing, you're able to drop enemies fairly quickly. You could drop veterans, you could drop normal enemies, you could even engage in elites and drop them. You could do a ton of damage to elites and give them a hard time. Now, where this build lacks is its hazard protection and explosive resistance, but again, you can make it to where that isn't an issue either, because as long as you have the right gear set and you get the bonus explosive resistance or hazard protection, you can mitigate a lot of the damage that's coming in through those factors. Now, from the previous build, you are replacing the contractor's gloves with the NBC gloves for the 10% crit chance with armor rolled core. So you're rolling armor on the core instead of weapon damage, because you are taking away your Ninja bike. You're taking away the ninja bike. The ninja bike gives you armor, skill tier, and weapon core damage. You'll still need that 1.3 million armor. You are gonna roll armor on your gloves, but you're still getting a 10% crit chance with the NBC gloves. So the loss of damage to armor you would have gotten from the contractor's gloves, and again, you could roll damage to armor directly on your weapon. You can roll damage to armor directly on your weapon. My Carnage has stability, so yes, it's a loss, but depending on how you have your build customized, it wouldn't even really be a loss to you. Either or, you would still be getting a 10% increase in critical chance, and I ran the tests. You're still doing 3 to 5 million damage. The energized talent boosts your skill tier by 1 skill tier, increasing effectiveness of skills for 15 seconds. This goes for both skills that you have equipped. So let's say you have what I have, this chem launcher and the defender drone. With this build, I'm able to activate my skill, and let's say my team doesn't have that much armor. I can, just to simplify it, I can break off a piece of my armor, that being the defender drone, and grant it to my team, making them more durable. I can also do the same for the chem launcher. So if I wanted to make myself reinforce myself, I could keep the defender drone defending me, and I could keep the chem launchers for myself to heal myself. But I also can give this to my team to make sure they are alive. And that is the versatility you get out of this build, and why it is so unique. Not only that, I'm granting my team hollow point ammo, increasing their weapon damage by 20%. So not only are they getting armor regen from me, not only are they getting defense from me, they're getting an increase in weapon damage from me as well. Keep in mind, the damage output varies based on expertise, SHD level, and attributes. So you may be doing more or less damage than me, but the rules still apply. The rules still apply. And that's pretty much it for the build. With that being said, please be sure to like, comment, and I will see you on the next upload.
assistance. Agent down.
Zero.
An agent needs assistance. Agent down. Vital signs critical. An agent needs assistance. Serious trauma detected. Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent incapacitated.